Oh, welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm jumping ahead, as you can see. I'm Sydney here with Eric, Claire, and Chad.
Nice to see you all today.
Yep, it's Friday Junior, as we like to say.
Exactly
That's right. Just a little bit steps closer to Friday.
And we were out today doing the free little libraries, repainting them, and it was warmer. It felt warmer than I thought it was going to
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I had to take some breaks in the shade too, but you know, a little bit of relief though is in sight as rain chances, of course, begin to spike here in the next couple of days. Of course, more on that in just a second. We're keeping an eye on that potential tropical cyclone number 16 could very well become a tropical storm Ophelia here within the next coming couple of hours, so keeping an eye on that.
How about we talk about it right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? So an update real quick on your weather. As of right now, tropical storm warnings are in effect across portions of the coast of North Carolina. Tropical storm watch in effect heading into tomorrow and into your Sunday. Also for portions across South Carolina's coast as well. As of right now, though, still maintaining potential tropical cyclone strength 16 here with winds sustained at around 35 miles per hour. Still several hundred miles southeast of Charleston, South Carolina as it continues to push northward. Likely to become a tropical storm here in the next several hours before making landfall early Saturday morning along the North Carolina coastline. Soon after that, making landfall, of course, with land interaction going to begin to weaken as we head into Sunday and also into Monday. But the next 12 hours ahead of that, we're looking at back in the 60s and 50s with mostly clear conditions. A couple of more clouds, though, are going to begin to build in as we head into your Friday. Breezy conditions anywhere between 25 to 35 miles per hour, with rain chances beginning to rise as we head later on into the evening of tomorrow and throughout early Saturday into the early afternoon as well. But some good news is on the way for Sunday. Nicer weather, so you'll notice back on Saturday we're in the middle 60s, but Sunday we are in the middle 70s. So some good news to look forward to on the back end of breezy and rainy conditions for portions of the Carolinas as we head into the front half of the weekend.
All right, this is going to be the wow story you hear today. We're hearing about an extraordinary rescue in Asheboro thanks to an iPhone. Westside Fire and Rescue took these photos of a crash off Highway 49 near Oak Hollow Drive. They say a tow truck drove off the road around 1:30 this morning. The driver was stuck inside the truck and could have been there for hours if it wasn't for his phone. The iPhone's crash detection system detected it was involved in a crash and sent an alert to first responders, who were then able to track it down. Firefighters had to use their equipment to get the driver out, but he's expected to be okay.
Whew, thank goodness for technology, right?
Unbelievable.
I mean, we see those. I've seen the commercial that shows that, but you just, until you hear it in real life, you're like, it really does work.
And
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that apparently the driver couldn't reach his phone, so the driver had no control over the situation happening. The phone itself just knew.
So something similar happened to me. I was involved in a car accident, and it wasn't through my iPhone, it was through my car. And exactly how you said it, I could not reach my iPhone, and all of a sudden I heard someone come over, you know, the system in my car, and it was a first responder, and they were able to come to me. So it was an unfortunate situation. Thank goodness I was okay, but exact same situation.
Is it like OnStar kind of thing?
Yeah, it was similar to OnStar. It wasn't exactly called that, but he popped right on there, and I was like, is this an angel?
Amazing. I know.
Yeah, he was very nice, but it was, something similar.
Wow, and I mean, I guess that maybe there are just so many things that our phones do that we don't even know that they do. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's true. Mine has a thing where it'll sit beside on your nightstand, and it lets you know the next morning how well you slept and how many times you woke up, but you don't even remember.
Really?
Yes, mine has a thing that
iPhone?
will do that. No, Android.
Android, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then they say, and it's your kid's fault you woke up so many times, right?
That's right, always.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. A South Carolina grand jury has indicted the woman accused in a deadly wedding day crash at Folly Beach. 25-year-old Jamie Komorowski is charged with multiple counts, including felony DUI resulting in death. Police say she crashed into the back of a golf cart, killing Samantha Miller, who had just gotten married. Miller's husband, Eric Hutchinson, was critically injured in the crash but survived. Officers say Komorowski had a blood alcohol level 3 times above the legal limit. She's been in jail since the crash back in April.
Family and friends of longtime Triad radio host Larry Reed will gather for his funeral tonight. It'll be in Asheboro, where he was a prominent figure. Reed died on Saturday from health issues. The day before he passed, The city of Asheboro named him honorary mayor for the day.
North Carolina is one step closer to having a state budget. Today, the House passed the second reading of the budget lawmakers agreed to earlier this week. It includes a lower income tax, teacher raises, and funding to expand Medicaid. The vote passed in a 69-40 vote along party lines and now awaits a third reading. The budget still needs to pass the Senate before it heads to Governor Roy Cooper's desk.
Davidson County groups that help feed homebound seniors are getting creative during a driver shortage. Senior Services and Meals on Wheels are partnering with DoorDash to deliver 50 meals to people in need. This is only a test at this point, but if it's successful, it could continue. Organizers in Winston-Salem have started setting up for the Carolina Classic Fair. We spotted a couple of the rides moving in today. The event kicks off at the fairgrounds next week.
WFMY News 2's Read to Succeed program is back for another season. The Good Morning Show stopped by Parkview Village Elementary School today to talk about the importance of reading. They spoke to students about the joys of a good book and the many doors they can open. You can catch the best moments from our visit to Parkview tomorrow on the Good Morning Show.
Oh, there's a new mayor in town. You better watch out for this one. Meet Mayor Green's Bull. The giant bull joined the Carolina Cowboys at City Hall today ahead of their season kicking off this weekend at the Greensboro Coliseum. The bull was renamed to honor the professional bull riding team's relocation to Greensboro. The Carolina Cowboys are the region's only PBR team.
You know, it's not often that as mayor or city council that we get to do something that's just fun. And this is just fun. And we hope that our residents in our region are going to come out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and learn about a new sport. I'll be happy to share the title with the bull. I'm not going to get in his way. But I think I like his first name even better, which is Bomb Diggity. I'll take either one.
Bomb Diggity Green's Bull. Oh, that's great. Well, the Carolina Cowboys will compete 3 times this weekend, taking on the Arizona Ridge Riders, Oklahoma Freedom, and Nashville Stampede.
She's like, I don't mind sharing that title. I'm going to get out of the way.
You don't tell that bull
No,
anything. That's right.
And don't hold a red thing in front of it, right?
But this is really exciting for the city. No, neither have I.
Have you?
Neither have I.
I would actually like to see it in person one time. I've seen it a million times on TV, but
Right.
never in person.
Yeah, I could see myself being on the edge of my seat, maybe having one eye closed, another one open, because it just might give me just a lot of, you know, want to make sure everybody's safe. But it's definitely going to be exciting for people who enjoy it.
I give props to the clowns, like the rodeo clowns
Yeah.
that like want the bulls to chase them around.
And get in those barrels
That's
and get
crazy.
knocked all over.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd rather be on a mechanical bull.
I'll take that. Yeah. Which we never stay on those long either. Yeah.
That's true.
We'll be right back.
All right, I am talking about body language of hiring managers and interviewers. Is what? What? No, I'm not.
Oh, when we think about jobs, the focus tends to be on the job seekers, such as interview tips and body language strategies. But the hiring manager or interviewer plays a big role in the hiring process as well. This is what Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, and I are talking about today. Blanca, let's jump right into it. Why should hiring managers pay attention to their own body language?
Hiring managers and interviewers are in a position of influence, and they're making an impact and an impression on the job seeker. And their body language conveys a message, not only about them, but also about the company that they represent.
And what are common body language mistakes hiring managers make?
They can interrupt the job seeker, but not only are they interrupting with their words, they're interrupting with their body language. When they shake their head as they're interrupting, or they make a grimace, or they're pulling away, all of that is sending a message. Also, if they're looking down or away at the door, at the phone, at their computer screen, it sends a message that they're distracted, perhaps they're disinterested. And if they give poor eye contact, it can make the job seeker feel like, hey, this isn't going very well, or this interviewer doesn't like me, or something's not right. And the job, or the hiring manager may not even realize that they're conveying that message. That's why it's so important for them to pay attention to their own body language.
What body language should interviewers show to maybe help job seekers be more comfortable?
To get the job seeker to be more relaxed and more comfortable, here's a few body language tips. One is the hiring manager should sit catty corner to the job seeker. So it's not like right in front of them. It's more collegial when it's more side by side. Also, if you hear something interesting that the job seeker is saying, you want to move in a little bit. And the reason you lean in is because you're conveying interest and you're like, wow, I'm liking what you're saying, keep going. And another tip is, when you want to clarify, you want to ask a clarifying question. When you do, you might want to flip your hand up, have palms up, and say, hey, tell me more about what's going on. Or tell me a little bit more about that project that you were working on. What that does is that it opens up a conversation. Then the job seeker doesn't feel like you're asking questions to trap them. You're asking questions because you really want to understand what they've done in the past.
All right, Blanca, thank you. You can continue the conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back.
Hey, be safe if you're heading to the beach this weekend. The National Weather Service has issued a high surf advisory. This is for tomorrow morning along all the Outer Banks beaches. And they also say there's a high risk for life-threatening rip currents and a potential for dangerous beach slopes all along our coast. The Weather Service says visitors should avoid swimming in the ocean until further notice.
We're keeping a very close eye on potential tropical cyclone number 16, soon to be tropical storm Ophelia. So clouds are expected to build in tonight with rain chances into tomorrow night, settling into Saturday morning. Again, coastal low going to be bringing in those rain chances. But hey, a little bit more sunshine into Sunday. Answering your questions here in just a moment for how far inland that rain is going to stretch and what wind gusts are going to look like. Futurecast, high pressure has been dominating the last several days, offering us lots and lots of sunshine. Temps in the 70s, but you'll notice tropical storm Ophelia moving into the area, bringing in those showers and storms, cooling us off into the 60s for Saturday. Some of those outer bands again could be pretty gusty as we head throughout the day on Saturday, but notice into the evening starting to see that system push north, offering us a little bit more of a drier Sunday. So weekend wind and rain, again, most of it is going to be concentrated along the coast and in Raleigh, anywhere between 1 to 3 inches. In our neck of the woods, most areas getting a little bit less than 1 inch of rain. But again, as you continue to go to the coast, you're going to see more and more amounts, as well as heavier wind gusts, anywhere between 35 to 45 miles per hour. But for us, mainly concentrated between 25 to 35. Again, Sunday is going to be the nice day of the two, looking dry with some sunshine also returning. Full 7-day forecast. Ironically, the first day of fall is going to be feeling like fall. We're going to be back in the middle 60s, but into next week, we're sitting back in the middle and upper 70s. Cooler air on the way as we head toward the later end of the work week.
To what lengths would you go to get a good selfie? Well, owners of a sunflower farm in Colorado said they've had enough of it. They say TikTok influencers are trespassing to get the perfect photo, and it's actually damaging their property. To stop the intrusion, the fed-up farmers created a unique decoy to keep people out of their fields.
It's the end of summer and sunflowers are trending.
Who doesn't want a picture with all these beautiful little sunnies in the background?
They are iconic, the perfect backdrop for a viral TikTok.
It's actually kind of unusual that before noon we don't have other folks out here.
But Jennifer Tucker says that popularity is a problem for Adams County farmers.
One of our Adams County producers had to hire and have 2 Adams County Sheriff's deputies stand guard basically of his field. They were on rotation keeping folks out of his field.
So with a little prodding from a county commissioner and a little help from CSU Extension, Tucker and company have grown a public sunflower field at the Riverdale Animal Shelter.
And I think that's probably the big key thing here is we get to bring a little taste of the beauty that we have out on the plains. Right here into town.
Eventually, Tucker hopes to have more fields spread around the county. But right now, getting anyone to take a photo here instead of trespassing is a win.
If we can just take a little bit of the stress off the farmers that have the trespass problems, it'll be huge.
She doesn't blame anyone for wanting to capture this beauty.
It's been pretty darn popular. Social media has run with it.
But now, there are no excuses. You don't need to ruin a farmer's field to get internet famous. You just have to come to this public plot of paradise.
And it's at an animal shelter,
which is perfect.
Perfect. You could bring the animals, you can adopt the animals.
Frolic through the flowers
Frolic.
with them.
With your little
Taking pictures. Tra-la-la.
Sounds like a great compromise to me that they were able to move it, because they could have just said, nope, you guys can't do this at all. But they said, no, we'll bring it to a more public place so that folks won't mess up any of the farmers' land. I love it. But you got to admit, when you go on social media and you see those pictures with sunflowers and folks in it, beautiful.
It is.
Oh my gosh, I know. I do like my selfies with my sunflowers. There was like this little place, what is it, Dixie Park in Raleigh?
Oh.
When I was at NC State, where they have all of these sunflowers and stuff, we'd go and get all pictures and stuff. So I get it.
Don't some of them get really tall, like human tall?
Yeah.
Like corn stalks.
Yes.
Like 6 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you just got to add a nice little blur effect on there. And you just
I mean, if you think about it, though, we're getting to the point you don't need to be in the environment to get the picture. I mean, you could just AI put
That's
the
true.
backdrop on it. You don't even need to go. You could
See,
stay in your living room.
But you need golden hour though. You know, you get what I mean. Golden hour.
oh yes,
I love
like when the
golden
sun
hour.
comes down,
Sunset
right?
with the sunflowers.
That's a beautiful,
Ooh,
yeah.
Come on. Just saying.
It's true, but you're right.
$1 million
AI,
shot.
people are going to stay in their homes and they'll be on the moon. You don't know where they are. with AI. floating around in an astronaut costume. All right, we'll be back. So get this, hundreds of items belonging to the legendary Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts. They are up for sale. The collection covers his decades-long career with that band. And CBS's Ian Lee reports on this from London.
Pieces of music history are going under the hammer. Christie's in London is selling more than 500 items belonging to late Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts.
You know, this is a sale where there are things for jazz collectors, for book collectors, but also anyone who's really interested in the history of the 20th century and the history of music in general.
Watts joined the Stones in 1963 and played until his death in 2021. But this collection isn't what you might expect from a rock legend.
He was quite a reluctant rock star. You know, he was far more interested in his intellectual pursuits than the mad world of rock and roll.
He loved jazz and kept sheet music from the biggest names in the business.
The greats of jazz are represented, from Louis Armstrong to Billie Holiday to Charlie Watts' own favourite musician of all time, Charlie Parker.
But books make up the bulk of the collection, like one about London as a Christmas gift signed by Mick Jagger, and the most valuable item, a first edition copy of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, with an inscription by the author expected to fetch up to $400,000.
It's a real personal favourite of my own, and I think of Charlie's as well. It's the book that defined the jazz age.
The live auction happens in London next week, but you can bid online to own a piece of history from the man called the heartbeat of the Rolling Stones.
Well, with this in mind, I asked you on Facebook, what celebrity memorabilia would you love to have and why? Lynn said Jimi Hendrix or Keith Richards' guitar, just because. Vicky says the patriotic jumpsuit with the cape from the best entertainer of all time, Elvis Presley. She said she saw him 3 times in concert and he sung the patriotic trilogy and brought down the house. Linda Murray says, I have Jeff Cook from Alabama, his guitar pick, handed it to me himself back in the 90s, but would love a pair of Eric Church's sunglasses. Chad might fight you for those. And Candy said Tom Glavine's 1995 World Series Game 6 jersey. She says, I was there in Atlanta when they won, and I do have a World Series signed ball from the greatest baseball pitching staff of all time. That could be true right there. You know, it's funny, I do have some memory. Actually, recently I bought a autographed picture of Jimmy Buffett that was verified. I bought it online just recently.
Cool.
Because I've always wanted that and never got it. When he was at the Wyndham, I was about 10 feet from him, and a bunch of people had stuff out for him to sign, and he got the guy right next to me. So I missed it, but I bought one online recently.
That's cool. My mom has this script of the movie The Butler that my dad won from an auction before, and it's featuring Forrest Whitaker and Oprah Winfrey when he was able to get hired as a butler in the White House, and so she has a piece of the script. So it's a pretty interesting
really
piece
cool.
as well too.
I wonder if I would want like something from like Harrison Ford from one of the Indiana Jones movies, or something eccentric from like Prince or Michael Jackson. Because they had wild stuff. Like the glove, like Michael Jackson.
Like glove, because he probably had a million of them.
Right.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I would say something from Beyonce, of course. I love Beyonce.
That would be big. I will say this: my band got to play a city festival once, and Bobby Keys, who was the sax player with the Stones, played 3 songs with us. That was huge. Yeah, just popped up on stage, and it was amazing.
You have that in your memory now.
Oh, I'll never forget that. We're coming right back. Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric, Sydney, Claire, Chad, all lined up in a row. ready to go.
And I am so distracted. I don't know
Oh,
what's
I know.
happening offset here.
Looks
but
like we
I
might
s-
get food.
I see
I know, right?
slices of pie
Yes.
with whipped cream on top of them.
I know
all
what this
placed
is.
We're
out like
talking
we're
about
going to eat it.
This is-
Tanya's upcoming segment, maybe, possibly.
It's
I don't know.
from-
We'll see.
And it's from my hometown. I know what this is.
Oh, I
very
wish that
nice.
view could show, but it's a little further back as well.
What a
too.
tease.
I know, right?
Like it's just
Stay
like
tuned.
right
Yeah.
over there.
It'll be good. Hey, we got some mess this weekend, right? Coming in that we have to watch.
Yep, keeping a very close eye on potential tropical cyclone number 16. Could very well be tropical storm Ophelia within the next several hours. Tropical storm warnings already in effect for portions of our coastline. Tropical storm watch in effect along the coastline in South Carolina. This is a look right now here, several hundred miles southeast of Charleston, South Carolina is where the center is. Continuing to move north between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could very well get the name Ophelia as we head into tonight. Models are suggesting it is going to continue to move north at that same speed, around 5 to 10 miles per hour, making landfall early on Saturday morning. And as it does so, continuing to weaken, starting to see drier conditions for the Carolinas as we head later into Saturday evening and into Sunday. But ahead of that, scattered showers and storms possible mainly to our east, especially concentrated right along the coastline. But in our neck of the woods, could see even some rainfall up to around an inch. But the center of this storm remaining well to the east, continuing to push offshore as we head later into Saturday and into your Sunday. But the next several hours still in the 70s and 60s with the sunshine, pretty nice. But clouds are going to begin to build in with this system tomorrow. Breezy conditions with winds up to around 25 to 35 miles per hour in our area. Gusts even stronger than that, especially along the coastline into Saturday. First part of the day going to be pretty wet, but afterward we're seeing some drier conditions, especially as we head into your Sunday. Notice on Saturday also going to be very cool, sitting in the middle 60s ahead of another nice day in the middle 70s for your Sunday.
Claire, thank you. The best way for you to stay up to date with all the changes with our weather is by downloading the free WFMY News 2 app. We will keep an eye on the storm and send alerts right to your phone.
Hollywood writers and production studios will dive into talks today for the first time in nearly a month, signaling a possible resolution. TV and film writers have been on strike for more than 4 months, pushing for increased pay and more security around the use of artificial intelligence.
It's the same script, but hope for a better ending for striking writers on the picket lines in LA. In a rare joint statement, the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said they met for bargaining Wednesday and will meet again on Thursday. Hollywood writers walked off the job nearly 5 months ago, demanding a new contract that addresses concerns over how much they're paid and what role artificial intelligence will play in crafting TV shows and movies.
People need money. People are really, really struggling. But everybody understands that we have to be in this fight until we actually get a fair deal.
While industry analysts say negotiations are likely far from over, reports suggest there is something different with this latest round of talks, especially with CEOs from some of the major studios actually in the room.
I mean, it's a positive sign. If they keep talking, eventually you hope they're going to come to something.
While the Writers Guild may be crafting a new future, no word on movement for Hollywood actors. Speaking at a tech expo in Germany, George Clooney said he hopes that an end is near.
I feel as if everybody understands that it's time to get on with it, but we're all in support of a decent and fair wage.
It's estimated the strikes have already cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. Border crossings are on the rise. This week near Eagle Pass, Texas, more than 5,000 people streamed through in a day in El Paso, Texas. Officials are seeing more than 1,800 migrants a day. It comes as the Biden administration is granting temporary legal status to more than 470,000 Venezuelan migrants already in the U.S. The move promises to speed up their approvals for work permits, potentially easing the pressure on states to provide city services like housing tens of thousands of migrants.
Rupert Murdoch is stepping down as chairman of Fox News. His son is expected to take over Fox Corporation. Rupert worked in the industry for nearly 7 decades. The announcement comes after Fox had to pay nearly $800 million to settle a defamation lawsuit with Dominion Voting Systems.
Convicted double murderer Alec Murdaugh pleaded guilty to 22 federal crimes today. The charges were in connection to his schemes to steal millions of dollars from his clients, money laundering, and bank fraud. Prosecutors are expecting to ask that any federal sentence Murdaugh gets run at the same time as any prison term he serves from a state court. Right now, he's facing over 100 state charges. Murdaugh is currently serving a life sentence for killing his wife and son.
Starting next week, you'll again be able to get free COVID tests from the government. The Biden administration is relaunching covidtest.gov to allow households to get 4 free tests. The feds say they're investing $600 million for production, hoping to avoid shortages during the winter months. It comes as COVID cases are on the rise, and many of the previous tests have now expired.
A Wisconsin man is leading the charge when it comes to helping cancer patients. In his wood shop, he's creating and donating wig stands to area hospitals, which then go to women who are fighting cancer. It's a project that has special meaning for Jim Anderson.
Wood turning is not your typical project to support cancer patients, but for Jim Anderson, it hits close to home. The idea to use his wood turning skills for wig stands was born from a talk with his doctor when he was treated for cancer in the spring.
I like it. It gives you a purpose to what you're doing, and some actually at the same time you can be creative. You can do what you like to do and turn wood.
Anderson says 100 wig stands have been distributed to multiple cancer clinics in central Wisconsin, including Aspirus and Marshfield clinics.
To be able to provide it to someone and to fulfill a need, it also provides a kind of spark for them and for a little brighter day for them in some of the dismal times they're going through.
Anderson creates the wig stands in his home shop. His work is really making a difference for cancer patients.
We've been hearing from the coordinators is that they're delighted. One woman even said she was going to keep it after she was done and call it a trophy, so she'd have something to remind her what she went through and how she successfully managed to get through it.
And the process of this wood turning takes about 1 hour to 2 hours minimum to put together. Jim is not the only one making wig stands. 30 to 40 people from wood turning clubs he's a part of are also helping.
They find satisfaction in it too, because a lot of them like to turn, but they don't have anything to do with the wood after they're done with it. So this gives them something they can make that they can actually pass on and somebody will appreciate and use.
I think it'd be really cool if, because that one lady said she wanted to keep it as a trophy, if after the fact, let's say you beat it and you ring the bell at the hospital and you do all the good things, and if he could just engrave like your name on it or the date, and then that's a great keepsake, you know? No wig on it anymore, just like your little trophy.
Well, this story touched my heart, and you mentioned about while it was playing, they look really nice, don't they?
Yeah, so nice.
And different colors as well, too.
It's incredible what people come up with that, you know, most people wouldn't think of. And then once you realize that there was a need for it, a lot of people could definitely use one of these.
I feel like you hear his heart. He's such a soft-spoken man, so sweet. Like I just think that's a good heart right there. Very good. All right, we're gonna take a break, and we're coming back with something sweet, a sweet treat.
Ooh, is it Tanya Rivera?
And not be eating all while we're, you know, trying to talk. If you'll pass that down.
North Carolina, it's known for all sorts of tasty treats. One of the first things that comes to my mind, Lexington barbecue. That's right. When you travel east, your dinner comes from the sea. North Carolina oysters. We even have a festival to celebrate all things oysters. Head to the west from the mountains where obviously it's got to be moonshine. It was run there, right? And that's the beginnings of racing and inevitably NASCAR. Now here's one more thing to add to the list. Mount Airy brown sugar pie. It's been a tradition in Mount Airy for the last 50 years. You're not familiar? Well, let me let you in on it. Let's take a look at the brown sugar pie. This treat has been a tradition for folks in Mount Airy at the Cross Creek Country Club. The Golf, Swim, and Tennis Club is turning 50, and something that has been on the menu from the beginning is the brown sugar pie. Now, the man who started it all, his name is Bucky, and we're going to show you a few pictures of good old Bucky, the chef and pie maker who started this 50 years ago.
The brown sugar pie is a Southern tradition. It's been something that's been cooked in this part of the country for a long time. The brown sugar pie is, I'll tell you, not the prettiest pie you'll ever see, but it is a delicious pie. It is simple, and it's just one of those things where all the flavors just mash up perfectly. The crust of the sugar pie gets like almost crispy and caramelized, and just below the crust, it's just ooey and luscious, and it's a really great dessert that once you try it once, you'll never question it again.
Woo. And so here is the pie in real life. I had them eating it while I was talking so that they didn't have to
left. Eric's is gone.
It's like a
All right.
crumb left.
So we liked it.
Love it.
So good.
Tanya.
I know, someone said, did you make it? And I said, oh no.
No, no.
You know, I was trying to pinpoint the flavor. It tastes like a pecan pie without the pecans on top.
A little bit.
You can taste
or
it
like
a little
chess
bit.
pie, like that kind of thing.
I love the brown sugar too. It's not too much where it just feels like it's overloading, but it's just the right amount of touch.
I love that he said the pie doesn't look very pretty, but it tastes great. I think it looks pretty.
it looks pretty
I think it's fine. Mayberry days are this weekend, and so they've made all these pies at the Cross Creek Country Club so that you can stop by and you can try a slice, or you can just pick up a whole pie.
Here, say,
There's like
we're gonna hold it up. Which one, Brett? 3? Yeah, look. I mean, yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
They sent me the whipped cream in a little thing so that I could put it on the pie. So you don't have to have any whipped cream on the pie if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, because I saw like the big bag that you were doing. I was like, oh, it's the real
that's
deal
their
that
cream.
we've got.
That is their cream.
Okay.
It's phenomenal.
Man.
Yeah, the
We
cream
like
was a good
this.
touch to it.
What I really liked is because I gave Claire one, so like Claire's off TV, but when I gave it to her and she ate it, she went, like, be still my heart. That's like the most Southern compliment ever.
Clutched her
This
pearls.
would be a nice Thanksgiving edition too.
I absolutely think it's like one of the great like
Yes.
fall editions that you can make for sure.
And typically, I don't like a lot of like pies if they're served cold or room temperature, but that's perfect.
Oh, that's
Well, and
great.
it's interesting that you say that because I said, all right, when people take the pie, what are they supposed to do? And so he told me that, and he also told me a trick. If you are willing to make the pie yourself, now,
Okay.
I say you go pick it up, but you can make the pie yourself. We've got the recipe for you. It is in the 2 Wants to Know section right now. The instructions are there, the ingredients are there, but the trick and how you warm it up afterwards when you're serving it secondhand, all right, here's how it goes.
I've experimented with this recipe just a little bit, and it really does take it up to the next level when you get the milk and the butter. They get come up to like almost a steaming point so that they'll melt the sugar. We serve it slightly warm. We won't serve it too hot because it will turn kind of caramelly. So we will slightly warm it up, maybe about 30 to 45 seconds in the oven to just lose the chill from the refrigerator.
Welcome back. Steve Hartman and his kids are back with a lesson about kindness, where he and his children share stories built around kindness, character, and the people who've mastered those qualities.
He's one of the best storytellers. Today's lesson is joy. Steve and his kids dipped into the archives to bring us one from 2007 about somebody who can teach us all about finding joy in the simplest of things.
If you want to find joy, especially in the little things, you need to think like a child. And no one proves that point better than the kid you're about to meet. This is a story from my archive about how you can find pure joy, even in the most unlikely places.
Kyle Critchbaum of Adrian, Michigan is vacuuming on cloud 9.
It's kind of like people who like baseball better than football.
You like vacuums better than
Everything.
And he's felt that way since before he could say Hoover.
When Kyle was a baby in his little baby seat and I'd be vacuuming, he would just be mesmerized by the vacuum, and he'd follow it everywhere.
So his mom got him his own vacuum at age 1, dressed up as a dirt devil for Halloween at age 2, and as his former teacher recalls, was vacuuming during recess at age 6.
And actually one day vacuum one side of the room, the next day vacuum the other side of the room, also vacuum the principal's office, anywhere he could vacuum.
Later, he started collecting them,
It's a slow starter, but it still runs perfect.
much to the chagrin of his older sister.
He's constantly vacuuming, and that's all I hear. And it's just like, why? Why? I don't understand.
Do you remember what it was?
Kyle is so obsessed, he had me call my parents to find out what vacuum I grew up with.
They had a JCPenney at one time.
A Pencrest.
Apparently, this particular vacuum is very rare. Only one other is known to exist.
What'd you do with it? You threw it out?
And there went his holy grail. But that's part of the joy for Kyle, the quest. He repairs neighbors' vacuums and uses the money to acquire more
Did it survive?
and more vacuums.
When is enough enough?
My parents say that all the time. When I go off to college, my parents say that they're going to have a big vacuum sale.
He thinks they're joking. I'm not so sure.
It's been 16 years since we first told that story. Is it possible? Is he still finding joy from vacuum cleaners? Let's find out. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Do you still have your collection?
I do. I have a shelf with vacuum stacked vertically and horizontally across some shelves.
Wow.
Did you ever get your hands on a green Pencrest?
Ah, I sure did.
You did?
Isn't that hilarious?
Where did it come from? It wasn't from Toledo, Ohio, was it?
It was from Akron, Ohio.
Oh, it could be the same one.
No way.
I know, maybe somebody picked it up.
What has been your most joyous moment as a collector?
If I find something that one of my friends is after, and then I can restore it and surprise them with it, that's always fun. My restoration.
Wait. What kind of friends do you have?
Vacuum friends, come on.
Because if you surprised me with that old vacuum, I'm not sure that would bring me joy.
That's awesome.
How have you been able to maintain this childhood joy into adulthood?
I don't know. I feel like we get so dogged nowadays with everything that's going on in the world that you have to find something to like and appreciate, you know?
Kyle, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
I'm glad we did that lesson, because if he can find joy in cleaning equipment, we should be able to find it in a lot of other unlikely places. All we need to do is think like a child.
What
Bubble
an
wrap.
interesting
Yeah.
thing to like.
Oh my gosh, what? I love vacuum cleaning.
There are
To that
Yeah.
extent?
Not to
Not
that
to that
extent.
extent.
Okay.
There
No.
are people that collect everything though. Like I have a friend that
Uh-huh.
collects salt and pepper shaker sets, and I collect old metal lunch boxes, like
Okay.
odd things that people collect.
Well, I was thinking about how he probably wouldn't like the vacuums that, you kind of let just roam on their own around the room.
Oh,
What are
no,
those
he
called?
wouldn't.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't like those as much.
But in the closet with all of them
I was
stacked
gonna
up,
say,
that is just so interesting.
the whole
to me.
collection, he had like a color per vacuum.
No.
That was crazy.
He should
yeah.
do a museum. That'd be funny, you know,
Now
the
that is
history of
what he
vacuum
really should do.
cleaners.
Yeah, throughout the years.
Yes.
Wow.
Make some money on that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Forecast-wise, what do we have going on?
Well, still keeping an eye on what will be Tropical Storm Ophelia as we head into tonight and especially into tomorrow. We've had pretty nice weather, all thanks to high pressure staying well to our north, but that is going to pull away, opening the door of opportunity for this storm to move right up along the coastline. Scattered showers and storms mainly just to our east, but a couple of those scattered showers could move into the triad late Friday night and into Saturday morning. This system, though, is expected to push northward of the area late Saturday night and into early Sunday. Wind and rain totals mainly in our neck of the woods under an inch, but well along the coastline, anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of much needed rainfall. In terms of wind gusts, again, our neck of the woods 25 to 35 miles per hour, but up to 45 or even higher than that right along the coastline. Not going to be the weekend to be out along the beach. Risk of tornadoes also beginning to rise well along the coast. Notice in our neck of the woods, not as much of a concern. Storm surge also along Wilmington 1 to 2 feet versus toward Hatteras 2 to 4 feet throughout this weekend. And what you can expect throughout this weekend, again into your Saturday, in the middle 60s, going to be the cooler day of the two. Cloudy, windy showers, again mainly going to be going to the east. Sunday going to be a little bit drier, some sunshine also returning, allowing those temperatures to warm back up into the 70s. Full 7-day forecast starting fall off on a cool note in the 60s, with 70s returning as we head into next week with isolated shower chances.
Claire, thank you. Before we go, the Carolina Panthers are looking to get back on track after an 0-2 start, and this weekend you can watch them do it. Since we are the official home of the Carolina Panthers, we will be airing their next game right here on WFMY News 2. Tune in on Sunday as the Panthers travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Bryce Young is not expected to play. The game kicks off at 4:05 p.m.
Hi, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out where to stick this.
Look at
us! I know. Hold on. Let me go do this, and then I'll take one when I come back out.
When we do the when you come back out after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hi, 1, 2, 3, easy as PT.
They are growing up so fast. My niece and nephew are sprouting like weeds. And look at them in their new Green Bay Packers gear. Let's hope they'll be celebrating lots of wins this season. When it comes to Charlotte, she's talking a mile a minute and having full conversations. She sings songs, recites the alphabet, knows colors, and loves to explore. Benjamin hit a big milestone this week. Mom and Dad fed him real food for the first time. His first meal was oatmeal, and he couldn't get enough. It's easy to see in these pictures he was both stunned and excited. Charlotte also loved watching him take his first bites of real food. It is wild how quickly kids grow up. I won't see them until Christmas, and who knows how grown they'll be by then. I'm learning more about what others mean when they say kids grow up way too fast. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now. Happening right now, state lawmakers are debating the state budget that'll have a huge impact no matter what's in it.
The deadline to pass a budget was actually months ago, but it could finally be approved tomorrow. It includes tax cuts, raises